and I can't wait to get my hands around your fat little neck and squeeze you until your eyeballs pop.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Now here it is. Good, good. Where are you at? Where are you at, Penguin? Come on. Yeah. Oh, look at it. You want to march with some purpose? Come into this ring right now and explain to me exactly why you did what you did. And wise man, understand that whatever words you choose, they will be your last. Come on.
In 3, 2, 1, clap.
Huh?
Benoit balls.
I still think Kevin Sullivan did it.
I'm Aubrey Edwards. I'm not a wrestler.
Tony's quick sniffs of the week.
No, just my dickhead friends causing concussions and shit. All right, never mind.
there's barbecue sauce. So good, half the face don't work.
With Hogan that close up on the fucking camera reminds me of my racist uncle. I know you ain't listening, but you know who you are, you fucking racist.
Uncle Oh my God, for real, don't tell me that's his name. No way. I was kidding. I swear to God. That was just the first thing that came to my head. It was the first thing.
Welcome to the Top of Wrestling with your hosts ODM and the Professor.
Good wrestling day. In a minute, I'm back. Not really, it's just been a week. 2, it's the Professor. I'm back, and I'm back in New York, baby. That's the exciting thing. Last week, the show, it carried on with ODM, and a lot of fun shit. I can't wait to unfold. But we're going to talk about that today. We got news, we got results, we got bring to the table. We also, with results, the Backlash pay-per-view we'll talk about. ODM didn't know if I was going to be here this week, so he was ready to run with another topic. And I have no idea anything about this movie, but I'm excited to hear about it today. Something called Oldboy, which I assume is the Joe Rizzo story. Ladies and gentlemen, ODM.
You know, the pisser is you're going to get away with that joke, but I'm going to clarify that it absolutely is not the Joe Rizzo story. I'll give a little spoiler about not giving the spoilers, because I'll explain the movie the best I can, but I got to leave the ending out, and if you do watch it, you'll see why it is certainly not the Joe Rizzo story. And that's all I'll say about that.
He?
No, well, no, not technically.
Oh, is it the uncle story?
We'll get the uncle story. We call him Grunkle.
So, hey, I got to bring up, last week, loved the show. Especially, you know, as soon as I take off, I'm like, of course, here's Black Friday. Everybody's getting released, and I'm seeing all of it, and I can't wait to get into where I saw all of that. But I'm watching all that, and I'm like, of course, the next fucking episode is something I'd like to be a part of. I'm so glad you got me included on the predictions part with Whiskey Man, because, dear God. And my favorite... That was one thing that made me pop. The other thing that made me pop was the text where he texted you, hey, man, watching Raw tonight, and you wrote back, why? You have another ESPN article you want to share with me? I lost it. I fucking started dying when I saw that. I thought that was great, so good shit. But we'll dive into this week's stuff. A couple of days ago, we found out that Sabu died at 60 years old. And I said this to you in text, and I meant this in no disrespect. He looked like he was fucking 60 in 1997. I didn't know how old he really was, but he was younger than I actually thought he was.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember when we first started doing the Wars, he was on an episode or two of Raw. There was the famous one where he did the moonsault off the apron and the table didn't break and he got all pissed off, so he went and did it again.
Oh, there was that, but also he jumped off the top of the Raw.
The Raw sign, yeah.
The when it was just the RAW big letters, and when he jumped, the whole letter moved, and he still, hit it, or at least, was caught. Shitty way to go out. Your last match is Joey Nutella, GCW weekend for WrestleMania. Have you been watching any of the latest stories about that weekend?
The only thing that I saw is what you have listed in the last part of that note. That's the only thing that I've seen.
So apparently, Joey said he gave it to Sabu, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not sure. I don't think this is what killed the man. But he took Kratom. And from what my understanding is, and I got to be honest, never took it. I don't know much about it. It's more of your upper, if you will. But it's definitely strong to keep you going. But he actually, even Dennis used it.
Dennis.
He's
yep.
like, I gotta use
in the
this.
one episode.
Yeah, I gotta mix this with something. It's pretty fucking gnarly. So I don't think that had anything to do with his death. However, then you see all the videos of him and Janela. Sandman showed up. Apparently, Sabu was knocked out on the concrete at one point, and I guess Sandman's music woke him back up, and he's like, "No, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm ready." Kratom kick back in. We're fine. It sucks, but I got to be honest with you. This sounds really fucking horrible. Anybody who did that kind of wrestling as long as he did, I'm surprised he's still alive. That he was still alive until this point. To be honest with you.
No shit. There was the match in FMW where the ring was on fire when he wrestled with his dad.
Yep.
Surprised he didn't die there.
Yeah, and then, I mean, his shit with Cactus, RVD, Taz, Sandman. I mean, all the shit that they did in ECW. I loved watching Sabu. He was, when I was a kid, I remember him and RVD having matches or even tagging together, always tearing it up. And it's funny because someone just put up a video yesterday of the match between Sabu and Rey Mysterio from WWE's ECW One Night Stand. And it's the night that it was John Cena and RVD for the title. Earlier in the night, this is where they had a fucking great match. It was one of those matches I remember watching it. Actually, I believe I watched it at that boy's house, and I remember being like, fine, Sabu and Rey Mysterio, whatever. And then they came out hot, and I just saw the highlights of it the other day, and I go, okay, I'm gonna have to revisit this match completely. They went hard. It was probably one of my favorite Rey Mysterio matches, looking back at it, and I believe it ended like double count out or just a no contest because of how they ended the match. But it was great. Loved it. Do you have a whole lot of any memories of Sabu, like watching ECW? Did you get a chance to watch any of that when you were younger?
I didn't watch a ton of ECW, but I mean, definitely knew who he was. He definitely was one of the staples. And like I said, we saw him on Raw here and there.
Right.
So, definitely, I'm not going to sit here and say I was a huge fan, but definitely respect. I saw Karrion Kross did a dark match on Raw, and he did the pose when he was in the ring. I thought that was pretty cool.
And as did CM Punk on Raw as well. When
I missed that. Okay.
Yep, he did the point as well. Didn't really do the body bend the right way, but they at least did a point up. So yeah, man, it's like I said, it sucks, but also I was kind of shocked he was still alive at this point anyway, and I don't mean that in a shit way. I'm just saying, like, for what he's done to his body. Okay, so I was last week, listened to the show, listened at various times, whether driving or quote-unquote working, and I was very, very shocked that you covered New Japan, because I actually, when I'm not on the show, I do a bunch of screenshots, and I'll put it into a folder and be like, I'm going to have to talk about this because he's not covering it.
I did it last time you were away. I covered it. Yeah.
Man, you did a great job. And in both pay-per-views, I'm glad that because there was two nighters.
2 nights, yep.
That Bullet Club War Dogs versus House of Torture match was actually a pretty crazy bloody brawl, too. If you have a chance to see some of the highlights of that, that was good. But Dominion, which is in June, used to be a pretty good one. That's one we used to look forward to, like Wrestle Kingdom. That's where you had Omega Okada. I believe it was also Jericho and maybe Naito or something like that. Like, there's a couple of good ones to check out in the past. This year's not looking too bad. Right now you have defending champion Hiroki Goto, and he's going to go up against Shingo Takagi. And I go, okay, I'm into that. Two hard-hitting Japanese guys. For the championship, rather, because usually you have a gaijin or this, that involved. Like, right now, I could go for just a straight-up two hardcore Japanese guys.
Fuck yeah.
Gabe Kidd is challenging for the global championship against Yota Tsuji. And then the one I'm actually really interested in, Evil versus David Finlay in a dog collar match. And man, I told you, David Finlay, within 3 to 5 years, he's going to be in WWE. There is no doubt in my mind. He's that good. But another note for New Japan. So with Tetsuya Naito's departure, what you read off last week was his final match. And he teamed with, I'm going to try and get this right. It's always a tongue twister, but Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Close.
Close enough.
2 out of 3 words ain't bad.
Meatloaf said that, I think. But his departure completely ended LIJ. Everybody agreed to go their own way. They said, I will back each other up. This is, translated, obviously. But yeah, LIJ is completely done in Japan.
I mean, they had a good run. I wish they would do that with fucking Bullet Club at this point. I think I mentioned it when I brought up New Japan last week. The only reason I wear the shirt is because it's cool at this point. The stable's been dead for a while now.
Oh, my God. I got to write something down so I don't forget and bring it to the table about that shirt. That's hysterical. Good shit. All right.
That's the one at the wrestling, what was it, the wrestling musical that I went to, where Simon Miller goes, get some new merch, bro.
He ain't lying.
Wasn't wrong. Yeah, he ain't lying.
So I realized I think we're going to have to start a new segment. Not segment, but you know how we're like, here, this is our contract news. This is our injury news. This is TK's Quick Sniff of the week. I think we're going to need to start a setup of funny tweets of the week. Because I have been interested in a lot of just how people bicker online, especially with the wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
Will Ospreay, during one of his interviews, but also online, said, on my worst day, I'm better than most WWE guys. Okay, athletically, okay. But wrestling in a match, giving it a little bit of story other than acrobatic-wise, nope.
Yeah.
Wrestling is entertainment. You got to remember that. I mean, it's never mind. We go down this path way too much when it comes to the flippies. But I do have to say this. I have a prediction. I think I said this half-assed a couple of weeks back, but I want to make sure I'm strong in saying it. Didn't read this anywhere, by the way. Just an idea.
An original idea.
So, right now, your Owen Hart Cup Finals, which will be taking place at Double or Nothing, is Hangnail Magnum TA and Will Ospreay.
Great.
The championship has been in the hands of Jon Moxley. We haven't seen the title. It's been sitting in a briefcase for months. I firmly believe that, because the winner is guaranteed championship matches. Both the Owen Cup for the women and the men both get championship matches at All In July 12th in Texas. I firmly believe that the winner is going to be Will Ospreay and that he is going to be the one to dethrone Jon Moxley.
It makes sense. I mean, the fact that Moxley still has the titles of travesty in itself, because much like the Young Bucks, the fans don't give a shit anymore. Even the AEW faithful don't give a shit anymore. Ospreay's really your best bet at this point.
I mean, I was more interested when Swerve was your champion. You know what I mean?
Sure,
like I liked it for
yeah.
that short little span. But if you had Ospreay as your champion, okay, it opens things up, because now you get Ospreay Strickland, you get Ospreay Joe, you could get Ospreay Omega, Okada, all those guys. Well, fuck Okada.
Yeah.
God, I can't remember who said it. It was I think maybe like Billy Kidman, something like some someone of the past said that is Okada is the biggest waste of money of all time. And it is. It's 100%.
Possibly. And, dude, I think it's something that gets lost in translation. We've talked about this a million times with Omega. Omega in New Japan is different than Omega in AEW.
Yeah, Okada in USA sucks.
Yeah.
So back to some other funny things or tweets. Becky Lynch did say this in an interview, and God, I fucking laughed at this. She was like, Bayley, she's so confused and dumb, she probably pays $100 a month to text her own friend. Which is what you brought up last week about that paying $100 a month to text with Mercedes, and you're like, I want to do it just to troll her. I think that's a funny fucking line from Becky. I think it's hysterical. It's the only thing that's come out of Becky I actually like, by the way.
There you go, yeah, especially since her promos lately have been trash. Yeah, I mean, does she have heat with her? Is she just working an angle? Like, what's going on with it? Like, is there any insight into that? Or
maybe something with Bayley? I kind of wonder what her real feelings are on Mercedes. They're all
Becky?
probably friends. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, because Bayley still does hang out with, Mercedes.
No, I know she does, but I was curious about Becky, where she stands.
Becky? Yeah, well, I bet you the other two don't like her at all. Don't like Becky, so.
Wow, this sounds like some fucking 10th grade bullshit. We're like, she doesn't
yeah.
like her. Hey, let's move on. This is some funny shit, though, on
Hell
this
yeah.
was actually on X. This one had me laughing. Ricochet and Javon Evans. Javon Evans said something on X, and Ricochet said, yeah, well, let me tell you something, man. When you were 12 years old, I was training with HBK, and I've gone on to be a multi-time champion. Good luck finding your spot, kid. Something to like that. That's like the meat potatoes of it. Javon Evans claps back with my favorite one, and he's like, yeah, I was 12 years old when you were training with HBK, and now you wrestle in front of 2,000 people for a crackhead. Upgrade. Am I right?
Sick burn. That's what you get, bitch of Shay, for opening your mouth just because you got a woman with a fat ass and can do some flips. Don't make your fucking king shit.
Funny thing about him, I didn't realize until someone put this up online. Did you realize that Ricochet has a goddamn microphone on his right bicep as a tattoo?
No.
But that's the funniest thing because he can't cut a promo
for shit. Yeah, Enzo had the one on his hand. But, I mean, at least he could halfway cut a promo.
Oh, I thought it was great. Well, speaking of Ricochet, tonight, Tony thought, okay, we're going to, you know what, this is kind of a TK sniff. He thought, let's bring it back. He brought back a 20-year-old program. Zach Gowen.
What the fuck?
Who you may remember from 2003 with his brief little feud on SmackDown with Brock Lesnar, Vince McMahon, and all that shit. And he kind of came to the aid of Stephanie. I was actually there in Rochester with Spada and then that boy to see the night that Zach Gowen did a fucking backflip and actually pinned, I believe, Big Show, which was kind of fucking crazy at the time. Brock Lesnar, I think. Either way, it's a one-legged fucking dude. And Tony's like, let's bring that back. And he's having a match on Dynamite tonight versus Ricochet.
Do you find it odd timing that it happened like a week after the Street Profits used a prosthetic leg?
Yo, I didn't think of that. Wow, tremendous. Wow, good job.
Whiskey Man must have fucking booked that.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got an original idea.
I hope he listens to our show and then goes, hey, I got a bunch of ideas. And then he's like, I think Will Ospreay is going to main event All In and win the title.
Right. Probably. Give it time.
Does ESPN have another great article? Anyway, so moving forward. Oh, also tonight, Jon Moxley's defending the title against Samoa Joe. Obviously, he's retaining. There's no way they're going to do a title change on Dynamite. They haven't done a title change on a great pay-per-view or any pay-per-view. But TNA, they're shopping for broadcasting and TV deals, so they decided they have implemented a no-blood policy. They said they are going to be doing it sporadically, but right now you got to remember, like, if you look at a lot of TNA shit, a lot of the matches have blood lately. Mm-hmm. So they're scaling back completely so, A, they can get the TV broadcast spot, but also, B, and this is something that they actually said, we want to do it seldomly because then there's more impact when the blood actually happens.
Get it? Impact?
No. Yeah, that part is funny. But exactly, though, like, the point is I'm like, yeah, man, and that's why I'm like, every week on Dynamite, there's blood, so I don't even care when I see blood anymore. Anytime I see someone blade, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't mean anything anymore because it happens so frequently, and that's the thing. Dominic Mysterio just did an interview, and they said something about, I think they asked him about how come he doesn't do many high spots, and he's like, if I go out there and I do a moonsault 90% of the time, it's not going to mean anything. If I do it 10% of the time, we're like, holy shit, did you see him hit that moonsault? I'm like, yes, thank you. This fucking kid gets it.
I read the exact same thing. And that also he was working with, living with, and training with Jay Lethal and a couple other guys from 2017 to 2020 before he even had his first match. It's just crazy to go back and see in 2020 when he had his first match at like SummerSlam against Rollins.
Yeah, we all hated him.
We're like, what the fuck? And now I'm like, I'm the biggest fucking Dominic Mysterio fan. It's so crazy.
Yep, absolutely.
I did see a funny thing. It was a Terminator reference from Terminator 2, like the whole, like, you're talking on the phone and it's like your parents are dead. That your foster parents are dead
from T2,
right. And the mother goes, well, yeah, Rey Mysterio is the greatest dad of all time, and he looks down at a guy and he goes, your parents are deadbeats. I'm like, fucking awesome. I love it. So but I do like that the less blood, I'm all for it. Again, has more impact, no pun intended, or pun intended, I don't really give a shit. This one, so Braun Strowman, he's already involved in a new project, and I think a lot of it has to do with, I think they filmed a lot of this shit, and they're like, well, we got it in the can, I guess let's try to market it somehow. And it's going to be on USA, and it's called Everything on the Menu. That's cool. Braun is still doing something even after being released. I also read that Braun has 15% paralysis in his right leg. So I would say be careful on what you eat. You don't want to go get them diabetes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I never was a huge Braun Strowman fan, but I, if it's on, I'll take a peek. Just to, if it's a food show, I'm down.
You know what? He did pull a good Big Show type exit, if you will. Now, last year, he put over two big guys, Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu. So, you know what, man? I actually do feel bad that they released him, but I also read his contract was extremely expensive, so maybe they're going to bring him back for, like, little spots here and there, and that's it. And that's fine. Exactly. Again, never been the biggest fan, but also, like I said, he really did
he had that
do
angle,
some work this last year.
He had the program with Lesnar and Kane, where he pulled down the fucking scaffolding. Then he flipped a truck the one time. So, I mean, he had the high spots, but that's about all it was worth.
You say Lesnar and Kane, all I think about is the slow the fuck down when he got punched in the head at Royal Rumble. Oh, my God.
Great.
Hey, let's just say Strowman took a straight punch from Lesnar, popped right back up. Well, not right away. Like, it rocked his bell, but he got back up, and he's like, message received.
Yep. You got it, pal.
So, hey, and for all of you WWE 2K25 gamers, much like myself, today is the first DLC pack. The first download characters. The packs are Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, Motor City Machine Guns, Stephanie Vacour, and Gaiulia.
Hey.
I love that you shake your head every time. And also a celebrity. And I had just read the other day, and I'm not sure how true this could be, but it seems like it might be right. There's 3 different spots. One is like a fucking NBA pack, and I'm like, good, that one I won't be downloading. I don't even care unless it was like
Rodman.
The ghost. That, or I was going to say like the ghost of Kobe Bryant.
Oh, there you go. Is his finishing movie jumps out of a helicopter?
Shit,
Too soon?
forgot I'm at the wrong table. I shouldn't slap that. Oh my God, I just shook everything. No, but the celebrities are said to be Travis Scott is one of them. I Show Speed and what's the other one? K Quick, K Speed, K Guy.
KSI.
KSI. Whatever. I'm actually excited. Motor City Machine Guns. I'm cool for that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm going to, just sneeze off to the side. God damn it, I had to. I had to sneeze.
I had to do it.
It's funny because with my travels, got into New York in a place called Westfield, which is a little more north of Buffalo, and stayed the night Saturday night, and ended up being like, all right, well, fuck it. I guess I'll toss it on my phone. Backlash is on tonight.
I was going to say phrasing.
Yeah. Found a chick that looked just like Liv Morgan. No, I did. No, I didn't. Anyway, so it was Backlash, and it's funny because I wrote, "Are you watching?" And you go, "Building a gazebo," or whatever it was. You said, "Feel free to spoil anything you want." And it was the opening with how things went down, and I was like, "Okay,
Right.
fair enough."
It's a hell of a spoiler, too.
It was. So, all right, let's run down the pay-per-view. Jacob Fatu against Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and LA Knight. Fatu retains. Damian Priest took out Drew McIntyre with a big table spot in the crowd, but it looks like Drew hit his head, from what it seems like. I'm not sure if he got concussed on that. And LA Knight took the pin, but Solo showed up with Jeff Cobb. Interesting. Not where I would have put Jeff Cobb. I actually thought Jeff would have been great to be the next member with Rollins and Breaker. That would have been a little more acceptable to me. But Fatu's already over as fuck. Mm-hmm. Company knows it. Crowd knows it. When Fatu got a head-on with Jeff Cobb, crowd started being like, holy shit, all for it. So I think Fatu is going to be strong face, probably by the end of the year completely, but I would say in the next 2 to 3 months. It's going to be a slow one. They're not just going to have him turn on SmackDown.
Right. And you know what? It's a perfect move because he's already over with the fans.
Yeah.
It's great, too, because, you get to kind of rekindle the indie feud between Cobb and Fatu.
I was just going to say, look up Fatu versus Jonah. I believe it was a House of Glory match. Two hosses going at it. And I actually just found out that Jeff Cobb was one of the big guys that was in Lucha Underground. I didn't realize that was him.
He did that crazy, fucking backflip slam shit or something like that. It was fucking crazy, dude.
Yep. Big Cobb fan. So I'm in corn on the Cobb, too. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so Dirty Dom retained his Intercontinental Championship against Penta. I was in and out during the match. Wasn't really paying attention. The match I was most interested in was Pat McAfee and Gunther. No lie, it was the one that had me being like, this is the one this is the reason I'm putting this on the phone, because I want to watch this match. I think it was very well done. McAfee had just the right amount of offense. Gunther beat the living piss out of him most of the match. They did a great moment, or a great spot that went back to WrestleMania 5. Yes, WrestleMania 5. Where Rick Rude defeated Ultimate Warrior, where Warrior had him up, and Bobby Heenan grabbed Warrior's foot so Rude can go down, get the pin, holding his foot down. Exact same setup with Gunther. He had McAfee up. Michael Cole grabs his foot. He goes down for the pin, and it was 1, 2, then a kick out. I mean, it was solidly well done that you thought Pat was about to pull it off. That even I was like, oh. Obviously, his chest looked like he went through the Arby's drive-thru with that shredded roast beef. And, man, but I liked it. I thought it was very well done. McAfee and Cole played their part very well. And now I see Gunther's already looking to be, going back after Jey Uso again. He wants the winner of him and Logan Paul.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'll not to jump ahead, but I'll jump ahead a little bit. I was talking with Weezy about it. Yeah, I feel like with Gunther losing the title, we never really gave it any thought that he could just win it back from Jey.
Right.
I mean, it's certainly a possibility, right?
And I'm okay. And you know what's funny is that it's expected that Cody's the one to take it back from Cena, or take it from Cena.
Right.
We've named everybody else but Gunther to take that title off of Jey Uso, and that's really funny that you say that.
Yeah, pretty much though, right?
We've named Ron Breaker this. You know what I mean? Like I've named even Punk for fuck's sake would come in first before Gunther, and I don't know why we haven't gone that route. Lyra Valkyra. She came in and retained against Becky Lynch, but very weird how she did a pin on Becky but kept holding her nose. She thought it was broken.
That.
But no blood, nothing at all, didn't look bent, but she was holding her nose during the pin, and that's all I could see, and I was like, it's kind of like the ending of Becky's match at WrestleMania 35. We all remember the shoulder going up. Now all I remember is Lyra just being like, fuck selling everything else on the pin. I got to worry about my nose being broken right now.
It was very weird. It was very weird. I'm surprised. That's the only one that I got wrong as far as my predictions. I wonder if that was the. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I just thought that she would have pulled a Hogan. She got pissed off about being called Becky Hogan.
She like being
Fucking
called
great.
the scummiest person on earth. She said or something like that, which is great. I love that Hogan, by the way, has been trying to defend himself on everything, and he's like, "I go to LA and get booed. The Rock could go to LA and get booed." Like two totally different reasons, man. Like
different reasons,
if Rock
totally.
turned face tomorrow, everybody's gonna be like, "Yay!" Like it's Moana too. Like it doesn't matter. But I love that she called Hogan the scummiest person on earth. But also with that, right after the pin happened, Becky popped up and just beat the living piss out of Lyra. And then as she was leaving the ring, the crowd was like, one more time. I'm like, and there's the end of Lyra being a face. Or like just over. Everybody was like, beat the fuck out of her again. Everybody loves a heel turn.
Yeah, I don't care for Lyra at all. Yeah, I think the only reason that people like her is because they get to go woo during her entrance.
Yeah. Or paint some abs on yourself and look like a bird.
Is that too?
John Cena and Randy Orton was a callback. Everything they did was a fucking callback. First of all, there's a counter that Randy Orton did 15 RKOs in total in the match. 6 of them went to Aldis and some refs, but still, that's a lot. I mean, to be honest with you, take that move enough, man. That's got to hurt your back enough. You know what I mean? Like, he does that.
Why he has back problems, yeah.
Probably, and he did it all in one night. He's like, I'll take some kratom, please. I heard it works.
Jesus.
No. Everything was a callback, and to me, I would go, wow. I got to be honest, this is maybe my first time saying I like the Randy Orton-John Cena match because it was flipped. I've never seen John Cena so much as the bad guy, right? Especially in their feud. It was great seeing Randy play the good guy. And I really thought they were going to do the throwback where Randy at, I believe it was like a Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber, slapped the ref and got himself disqualified purposely so that John Cena couldn't have the title. And I was like, I kind of want Cena to do that.
Cena
like
to do
purposely
that.
low blow the ref or something. I did not have R-Truth coming in. I did not think that was happening. That was weird and random. But I liked the post-show conference where
oh my god, it's so great.
He came
Cena
in to
cracked.
talk to him. Yeah. Oh my god, he did crack. That was the best fucking part. And then puts him through the fucking table there with an AA. So I said it in a text. I think I only said it in a text to you. I know that, and I had to wait to get to the show because again, I didn't read this in ESPN. I didn't read it from What Culture Wrestling Inc. I didn't even read it from kayfabenews.com. This is my own prediction, man. I said to you in a text, why does the title have to go directly back to Cody? What if you have a transitional champion right along the way? And to be honest with you, if there's anybody that the crowd would lose their fucking mind over for one night, I don't care if it's at a Saturday night's main event, which is looking like it might be Cena and Truth there. They're not going to do it on Saturday night's main event. But if they did it like a pay-per-view and Cena won it back that following Monday or Friday, I wouldn't give a shit. That crowd would lose their fucking mind. Mm-hmm. People around the world would be like, that is...
The internet would break.
Yeah, and that is a you deserve it moment. For me, that's the time I'm going to say, yeah, you deserve it, dude. Like, for the years and years that he's done shit.
Yep, I just listened to him. I did listen to him on Chris Van Vliet.
Yep.
And then they had another episode where they were live in Vegas during Mania week. And they did a live show. I listened to that one, too. So
where he admits that he got charged a $20,000 fine
for smoking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I guess Vince caught him smoking backstage and then made him do it as a bit or whatever and then fined him for it for smoking in the arena.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was Vince that fined him for it. I think it might have been like the arena or whatever like that. But I just love that he was talking about he wants to put out a little Jimmy doll, like action figure. There's nothing in the package.
There's just nothing in the package. It's the funniest thing. Which is funny because I think no one ever really caught on to that too, by the way. Little Jimmy, you can't see him. John Cena. Like, it's just, it all worked out so well. Yeah. And it's funny because he said, he's like, I'm not a comedian. I have things and how I deliver. But everybody I've been reading about, or everything I've been seeing and reading about, is that Jimmy Uso is actually the funniest fucking person backstage.
Huh.
Right? And I was like, that's interesting to me. But I just saw
it's probably 'cause he's always drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, here's another shot of Jack. God, do that impersonation again. But I actually did just watch compilation of Sami Zayn cracking everybody up in the bloodline. And the one where he's backstage, first where he's like, we're going to the Waffle House. The boys love Waffle House, right, boys? I'm going to get the hash browns.
Yep.
They're all cracking up. My other favorite one is where he's like talking to Roman. He's like, and I'm in his head. And I'm in there. I'm laying things down. I'm dancing. He starts doing his little dance move. And he's like, you're dancing. And you look behind him. Jay can't stop fucking laughing.
Yep.
I like when they do that shit. That, to me, it makes me more interested to watch backstage segments because normally I'm like, skip. Especially when I see
Pretty
like
much.
Alpha Academy, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Pass.
Otis is going to take his shirt off, the blonde girl is going to say something, and Tozawa may dance.
Yep.
Yep.
That's about it.
All right, so what is the common theme? If you start working for AEW, you debut, you lose. Yep.
Yeah.
Josh Alexander still kills me.
Jeff Cobb.
Rhino made his fucking debut last week and lost.
Sounds about right. Is he actually going to be there full time, or was it a one-off?
I don't care. Either way, it was Rhino, man.
Man, you should fucking see what happened to Sabu. Maybe think about it.
We can't label this show brought to you by Kratom, can we?
I don't think so.
Hashtag not a sponsor. So on TNA Impact, Trick Williams was on the way to the ring because it got set up that he is going to challenge for the TNA championship, Joe Hendry, at NXT Battleground. So a TNA championship is going to be defended at NXT's pay-per-view. All for it. I don't know if they'd actually pull the trigger, but man, that would be pretty cool if Trick Williams won the TNA title in a crossover.
Yeah, I it's one of those things. I mean, you could certainly see it happening. I don't know if you want Hendry to lose the title to somebody on NXT. You know what I mean? You don't want to shit on. Yeah, well, yeah, eventually, yeah, definitely. That's going to happen. So yeah, maybe a little trade there. You know, hand the title over and we'll swap talent.
While Trick Williams was on the way to the ring, he just passed down the hallway and saw Mike Santana. And they had a quick stare down. And when I tell you, the fucking crowd popped pretty quick. And that was it. And then Williams had to head to the ring. Santana turned the other way. I'm like, yeah, I'm sold. Okay. Because, man, if Santana can prove himself the right way doing any NXT TNA crossover, I'd love to see Santana make his way to WWE. Be the biggest fuck you to TNA or to AEW, Ortiz, and everybody, man. Like, he, of all the people, made it. And we were pretty sold on Santana from one fucking promo about his goddamn dad. And we're like, okay, I'm in. I'm sold.
Yeah.
I watched some of his wrestling, but then I liked him even more. I think this guy's got a future.
Yeah, we've been fans. He disappeared. He obviously had some demons he was dealing with. Seems to be better now. And
yeah, that's true.
Let's see what we can do with it.
Are you sick over there, man?
I don't. It's either I don't know if I'm getting sick or if it's just allergies. I've been sneezing all day. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know how bad it is where you are. You're only a couple hours away from me, but you go out my driveway. My car's covered in pollen. My red car looks yellow.
I see you have a nice little hanky you keep blowing your
nose.
Yeah,
well.
My grandma used to have that. She used to keep it up her sleeve.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Raw, to me, was meh, to be honest with you, the other night.
Had its moments.
It was, yeah. I did like the setup for Punk, calling out the fat, bald-headed man for Heyman. Called him Penguin, which is fucking fantastic.
Here comes the Penguin, yep. That's fucking
and he
great.
looks like Danny DeVito, the Penguin version of Returns. It was just perfect. But I actually am in for this Punk and Sami Zayn versus Rollins and Breaker. But I hope Sammy turns on
That's-
Punk at the end of this.
Yeah, yeah, and I was thinking, Weezy and I were just, we, like we do on the show. Sometimes we just throw shit out there, right?
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, I'm expecting this is where Sammy's gonna turn. I'm like, but what if Punk turns?
I don't think he's going to turn because he's not going to. He won't align with Heyman, and if he turns on Sammy, that's a completely different fucking story.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll turn. To be honest, with you.
I agree with you. What did you think of AJ Styles and Balor?
Good match.
Solid match, man. Yeah.
It was and it's funny because it brought me back to the 2017 TLC
where they
had to get thrown together. Yeah, but they got thrown together in a match for that night. But yeah, they ended up doing the too sweet sign and got in trouble for it. But fuck it, who gives a shit? That was match of the night.
It was
the Shield. Remember, someone got sick or got hurt or whatever. Kurt Angle ends up joining the match. Yeah, that was a shit show of a pay-per-view. You should have let Styles and Finn fucking jerk each other off at the end and just be happy. We're worried about a hand gesture. Well, it was Vince. Never mind.
Yeah.
But it was main evented on Raw with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley versus Roxanne Perez and Giulia. And Giulia took the pin. And it looks like they're kind of hinting towards Rhea Ripley going back for the championship with Io Sky. All right. Not a fan that the new people just lost so quick, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's a tough one, how you booked yourself. Is it me, or does Rhea look like she lost weight?
I don't know. I don't look at stuff like that, ODM.
Yeah, the cake is still there, at least. The cake is fine. The cake hasn't fallen at all, but,
Oh, good stuff. Well, hey, man. I have something great to bring to the table.
Cake.
Just bring it, bitch!
Oh, my gosh!
Cake. So here's the deal. I made my way back into New York, but the first day that we took off was only a couple days after the last show I was on a couple of weeks ago. Took off, made it 2 hours, and the starter went on the RV. And we were stuck on the side of a fucking highway. Because we...
Yeah, so I got a question about that. And since you always interrupt me, I don't feel bad about doing it to you for once. Because I was talking with Wheezy about this.
How does the starter go and you're on the side of the road?
Well, no, because if the car's already going, the starter dying isn't going to cause you to stop.
Fair enough. So how this went, thank you. I understand that. I was so irritated and pissed, I didn't care if it sounded bad, interesting, correct, didn't give a fuck. I was like, I'm on the side of the fucking road. Spent 30 hours on the side of this goddamn road. Jesus. And so the RV did not start properly in the beginning of the day. And we ended up getting it started, had to do a slight jump, got it started. Then we drove several hours, and then we were coming down some hills. As you're going down the hills, if you have these air brakes, you can only, and I'm talking like fast speed, right? You the types of hills that if you're going 65 and the weight of an RV, you can hit 85 if you blink. Like, you got to be ready to go. You always see the thing says trucks use low grades. That's the reason. Or downgrade. And I had used the brakes a little too much, and we started smelling it. And we're like, fuck, burning. We're like, let's pull over. So we pull over. And we're on the side of the road, and we're like, but do we turn this off or let it just keep going? Since the morning we had. And we're like, we got to turn this bitch off at some point, but everything is so fucking hot. You can smell the burning of the brakes. We touched the tires. They were pretty hot, and we go, we got to take a fucking break, man. I'm like, we got to turn this shit off. And that's when the starter just never started again.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then, while we're waiting for someone, man, we tried getting a hold of this one place. This fucking, they go, because we had to use our agency, Good Sam, and they go, yep, we're going to get someone dispatched to you to either jump or tow, whatever the case is. And we're waiting. It went from 2 o'clock that Friday all the way until, 6 o'clock the next day. And they go, yep, we have someone on the way, but we're going to call you back with a confirmation. Didn't get a confirmation call. I call 45 minutes later, and they dispatched me right into the auto place. He goes, no, we're not going to be able to do that tonight. And I go, was anybody going to fucking call me? So you knew I was already in a great mood. But we end up finding that there was this guy, a mobile repair guy, that comes to you and will do it right there. And so we did it right on the side of the road, but we had to wait. We're also in fucking bear country, we find out. How do I find out? First, I called one auto place, and the guy goes, with food. And I go, our fridge is off. I'm like, so don't worry about it. He goes, no, I'm saying anything in your pantry. He goes, we have bears out here. He goes, they'll rip the door right off your RV. He goes, happened twice. And I go, I'm going to call you back. I'm going to see if I can find somewhere else. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But on the side of the road, I'm sitting on the side of the road, and all of a sudden, this cop pulls someone over directly in front of us. And now we're just watching it. I'm like, well, at least I got something to watch right now. Which I was so glad that I didn't be like, I'm going to cook up a chicken nugget or two. And I go, but I do got to ask him, because we're here on the side of the road till tomorrow. Is it okay? People are going fucking 70 by us on this fucking thing. It's shaking the shit out of the RV. So I wait for him to go. And I told you, man, I'm a goddamn police body cam nut. I like watching that shit. So I waited till he was completely done with the stop, and I was on the outside, and I wave, and he waves, and I go, can I talk to you? He goes, yeah, sure. And I walk up, and Mrs. Professor said, she goes, it was so fucking funny watching him. My hands were out to the side, open, like just wide fingers, like, sir, I
don't have anything, sir.
Yeah, it's 100%. I walked up.
Please don't shoot me.
Wearing my Bullet Club shirt.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't too sweet me, so I don't think he knew.
Yeah.
But he goes, no, man, you're fine here. There's two things you're going to want to worry about tonight. And I go, okay. He goes, people like to speed through here during the middle of the night. I go, okay. And he goes, so just be aware of that. And he goes, second is black bears. He goes, they are around. He goes, by dusk, they're going to be out. And I go, okay. And he goes, a good yell could get rid of them. I said, could. It could.
It's good to have options.
So I pulled out the shotgun. And then I'm sitting there staring at my two different boxes of ammo. I have either the birdshot, which you know is like a series of BBs that are all kind of together, pellets, right? Mm-hmm. Or the slug, which is a fucking, the buckshot, which is adios your head.
The slug, yeah.
So I'm sitting there staring. I'm like, oh, God, the slug is going to take out a window if I miss completely. The bear may laugh at me if I hit him with the bird shot. I'm like, so how many do I put in there? Do I put in a bird shot, then a buckshot? I'm like trying to figure out. I'm like, fuck. I'm like
50-50.
And I got to sleep on the couch, and I'm wondering, fuck. I'm like, I got to pop up. So I practiced a couple of times popping up off the couch, being like, and my hand will go here for the gun across from me. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Like Walter White in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, no lie. Like in front of the mirror, like just checking how you can do it. Obviously, nothing ever came because the story would have been a lot faster to you.
I saw a meme about somebody talking about loading their own shotgun shells, and he says, "Fuck rock salt or anything else like that." He's like, when I shoot this motherfucker, I'm bringing him to the spirit realm, and he's loading it up with Benadryl tablets.
See, my favorite thing about that was Dave Chappelle was one of those things. He's like, I'll do the bird shot. He goes, right after that, he goes, it's a reggae song. Buckshot, buckshot, buckshot. But one of the things I got to quickly say before we move on is that one of my favorite things to watch every now and then, on YouTube, is a thing called Cinema Sins. They go through an entire movie. You've seen Cliffhanger with Sylvester Stallone?
A long time ago, yeah.
Right.
I saw it.
They're like, there's no way this girl would have died, blah, blah, blah. This wouldn't have happened, blah, blah, blah. Why is he, like, there's a part where he actually has captured a fucking rabbit and put dynamite on it to go scare John Lithgow. And the guy's like, I would love to see the bloopers of this man running around trying to find that fucking rabbit and chasing it.
Right.
Like, breaking down every part of a movie. And they did Liar, Liar. And this one had me laughing, just for one part only. Towards the beginning, you remember when the boyfriend comes over, he's like, "Hey, Skipper, you want to play some catch?" And the guy goes, "Oh, great." He goes, playing catch on whatever Jim Carrey. He goes on his allotted father time or whatever it is, right? But then she goes, "Where are you taking him?" He goes, "We're going to go watch tonight as Macho Man Randy Savage takes on ravishing Rick Rude in the cage of death." And the guy goes, when this movie came out, Rick Rude had already been retired for 4 years. And then you see a quick thing of Sting and Rude, that whole thing. The guy just goes, fucking Sting. Had nothing really to do with the movie, but he brought it up and he just goes, fucking Sting. And I go, nice nod, man. I'm like, that was awesome.
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
Yeah, good shit. All right, man. What do you got for the table this week?
All right. So Weezy and I were talking last night at Raw, and, he's pining for the Wyatt Six to come back. We did see Alexa Bliss on SmackDown. It was good to see her. And then I just hit it, and then we started talking about Cena. It's like, at first it felt like, Cena I felt like Cena has to turn face again, right? I just felt like, before he leaves, he's got to turn. But I'm like, maybe he doesn't, though. Maybe he just rides off into the sunset as a heel. I mean, maybe that's the way they do it. And then I thought about something. What if the Wyatt Six retire Cena?
Nah.
Because it's it's a callback to the Bray match where Bray made Cena disappear. And now the Wyatt Six finished the job. It was just a thought. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's some intrigue there just as a callback to Mania, to Bray, And remember that match, or that vignette, or whatever you want to call it, was Cena turning heel.
Right, the whole NWO thing, and
yeah.
My favorite part is you can look, but you can't touch.
You can't touch.
That was Bray's best fucking work, to be honest with you. I loved all the shit he's done, but that was my favorite one. And then Titus O'Neil after going, I don't know what I just saw.
It was great. Classic.
I'm not mad at it, but they have zero momentum or steam at all in this company right now, so I can't see it happening. They would have had been on at least one of the shows, even fucking NXT, and they're not even doing it.
It was just a fantasy booking thing, and I think I said it in regards to, the Wyatt Six can do a couple more things, but then they just need to retire them.
Yeah,
just retire the gimmick and put it on, and this is a way to do it.
They haven't done anything.
Vince's limo blowing up.
Yeah, they haven't done anything fun, Wyatt Six, since they shot Chad Gable in the head.
Pretty much. Yeah, you're not wrong.
And
that Nikki Cross.
Well, yeah, and speaking of, for Whiskey Man, you want to predict something, because you're such a predictor. You think it's not Chad Gable. I want you to predict who the fuck is under the El Americano mask, then. You give me your fucking prediction of that.
So he actually... It sounds like he, because he said something the other day. He's like, I looked at him again. He's like, yeah, it definitely looks like Chad Gable.
Oh, you fucking asshole. That surprised he wasn't like, but it could be our truth.
Yeah.
I don't see color. Though that was Triple H. That was what Triple H said.
Yeah, he just buries Booker T. Yeah. Triple H, we coming for you.
I don't see color. Too busy bothering to bury it out. Or whatever, yeah. See, when I was off a week.
Wars now.
Fuck you.
Monday Night Wars! And now Nash, he's going to put a punctuation mark. Oh my God! He powerbombed him through the ring! From the ring! Good God! Kevin Nash is a monster! A tree might spring up there. He planted Jarrett like a seed under the ring. Oh, not Jeff Jarrett. He folded him up like an accordion. Look at this. The ring broke. The ring broke. Kevin Nash broke the ring, but Jeff Jarrett's back, and we've got a new world champion. How about the face of Vince Russo? Did he ever think it would come down to this? Wait a minute.
It is the go-home show for WWE Judgment Day, which is a pretty memorable pay-per-view, by the way, in 2000 at this time. And we're talking about the Wars. It's Monday Night Raw, Raw and Nitro. And you have a 50-50 shot, all right? Some people say you got a 50-50 shot if I watch the Wars or not.
You sound like Seth Rollins.
Whoa. All right, never mind. Do you think I watched the Wars?
No.
Motherfucker, I don't know if you listened to the last segment. I had 30 hours on the side of the road.
Well,
I was like, well, because the funniest part is that the mechanic who was helping us on the side of the road goes, so either you guys can go get the part or I can. It's an hour and a half up and an hour and a half back to get it. And he goes,
Jesus.
If I do it, because that's how far it was, he called like 80 fucking places. God bless this dude. He was actually really fucking cool. But he goes, but if I drive, I have to charge you that time. And Hillary's like, no, I'm going to drive. I got it. We got it. It's under control. So she went to go get it. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, well, toss on the war, see what ODM's going to talk about this week, which I watch, and I go, fuck it, I'll just keep skipping through and seeing what else is going on. I actually did go through to the 15th of May in 2000 and watched all of it. So you can thank my RV breaking down that I was able to watch this.
There you go.
Even Nitro, I was that bored.
Oh, boy.
Also, this is Black Friday. My phone, I just kept looking. I'm like, there's one site. I can't remember what it was, but every time I refresh it, there's like 3 new names on it. And I was like, this is the one. This is great.
Crazy shit. Well, let's start with Raw. Raw's coming to you from Cleveland. There's a red moon rising on the Cuyahoga River.
Oh.
Rolling into Cleveland to the lake. Randy Newman? No? Never mind.
Nope.
Burn On.
Apparently, I don't know that one.
It's the song they play at the beginning of Major League, you twat.
See, I like the one where he loves L.A.
That's a good one, too. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Well, HBK opens the show by coming to the ring. Says, at one time I was called the greatest wrestler that ever lived. He's still the commish, even though he hasn't been on TV for a bit. He says, there's things that have been going on that people should have been punished for, and they weren't. That's my fault. I've been busy with my own training academy, my own promotion, and my wife and my kid. But because of all that, I haven't been doing my job, so I'm retiring as commish. And he says, I got to say, I started, with everything that's going on with Triple H and The Rock, I kind of started this all in motion on the very first episode of SmackDown. Because if you remember, he was the ref for The Rock Triple H title match.
Delivered the super kick to The Rock as he was going
Yep.
to do the people's elbow as he came sliding in, pop right to the face, which was well done, by the way.
Yeah, very well done. Vince's music hits. He's all smiles. He comes down. He goes, I don't think I invited you here, but when have you ever needed one? And HBK says, well, I was invited by the CEO and president of WWF, Linda McMahon, and I have 2 announcements. First being my resignation. But now I'm an official spokesperson for the WWF, and my second announcement is regarding the title match at Judgment Day. And, you may remember I know a thing or two about Iron Man matches, so I'm the only person in WWF to ever go 16 minutes in an Iron Man match, so I should be the ref. And HBK shoves Vince to the mat. They do a great spot right after this. I don't remember if they cut to break or not, but we see HBK getting in his limo and he's leaving. As his limo's pulling away, DX's limo pulls up. And Road Dogg and X-Pac get out and they're like, that was Sean. I think that was Sean. It was just the way they were selling it was great.
I like it.
Big Show walks it. He's looking for Shane. Shane's not there. Okay. Next, you get the Dudleys versus Head Cheese. Head Cheese is still arguing about the names and the gimmicks. Now El Snow is meditating. We get X-Pac and Road Dogg and Tori watching from the top of the ramp. Dudley's win with a 3D. Blackman jumps in post-match. DX come to the ring. They take out the Dudleys. And Tori gets revenge and splashes Bubba through a table. And she does the DX chop standing over him. And she might be one of the best at doing those DX chops.
Yeah.
She did a pretty good job.
I was going to say, some of the guys botch it, but she made it look good.
Yeah, she did.
Hey, by the way,
hip
the
action.
little kayfabe just for some fun with you and I. Yeah, we didn't split the track in 2. Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, we'll see. We'll do an assessment, a post-mortem, we'll call it. Come back from break. Devon is preaching to Bubba, about having to get revenge. Bubba has that 1,000-yard stare. And Devon says, Tori will know our name and we will testify. Stephanie comes to the ramp. She puts Tori over, brings up SmackDown. On SmackDown, Stephanie took a bump in the corner from Rikishi, and they set up the stinky face, as they continue to call it. But Triple H was able to make the save tonight, so Rikishi will face Angle tonight. Kurt Angle comes out, and he goes to hug Stephanie, and they both back off. And then he shakes her hand, like, as far away as he can. It's fucking hilarious. It's fucking great.
And I gotta say, this is one of the very few times I'm like, it's cool that we're watching the Wars, because I always thought it was just Stink Face, and they're calling it Stinky Face, and it's cool to like go back and watch this. Like I'm glad that we're doing that, because I'm like, no shit. Again, it's the whole thing. Next day, Austin 316 signs everywhere. No.
Yeah, not
it took
at
3
all.
months for that shit to look like that.
Yeah, it was a while. So Angle is sickened by the stink face, runs down Samoans and Cleveland. It's true. So yeah, we get Rikishi versus Angle, and Patterson and Edge and Christian are watching from the top of the ramp. Just 3 Canucks having fun. They run in to prevent the stink face. Rikishi splashes all 3 of them in the corner. Too Cool come in, dance party. Big Show's still in the parking garage waiting for Shane. And then next you get Godfather versus Crash Holly for the hardcore title. D'Lo runs in, and one of the hoes ends up pinning Crash for the title. So a hooker held the WWF hardcore title for 3 seconds.
I do have to say this, okay? It's really funny to me that we're like, yeah, Nitro's dog shit. I'm like, WWE wasn't really putting up a lot of great stuff, but somehow it was like, I mean, if we're looking at one kind of poo and the other kind of poo, this one's wet, this one's dry.
It was the mid card in WWF that was the shit show. In WCW, it was across the board.
That's true. The prostitute did win the world championship.
Yeah, exactly. Crash immediately rolls her up and wins it back and powders. Big Show's still waiting in the parking garage, throws his bottle of water out of frustration. And the McMahon-Helmsley faction come to the ring. That's what the Chirons said. I wonder if they were trying something out there. Vince says The Rock's going to be facing Benoit tonight. It's going to be a submission match. Triple H cuts a promo on Rock and HBK. Finally, The Rock comes out, accepts the Iron Man match challenge, and he says he smells a rat with HBK as the ref.
I totally missed the McMahon-Helmsley faction. I completely missed that. The Chiron, wow, good fucking job, man. Good for you.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do.
That's what you're here to do.
Well, okay,
this was your pet.
Yeah, it is. Ugh. Sometimes you got to put a pet down. It's
March 2001. I promise you.
Yeah. Well, no, because we'll
yeah.
Chris Jericho versus Hardcore Holly in a hardcore match. Benoit comes in. He locks a Dragon Sleeper on Jericho. Holly hits a heat shot to Jericho for the win. Show sees a limo arrive. He charges it and rips a guy out from the back seat. It's not Shane though. It's just some random dude. And then Shane comes out to the ring. Wow, Big Show's really going to be pissed off. He runs down Big Show. Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go? And then he cuts a promo on the fans chanting, Shane's a pussy. And he actually says it. They bleep it, but so that was funny. He gives the dictionary definition of pussy, which is a cat. And I have the moves just like a cat. And I got 9 lives, so I challenge Big Show to a match at Judgment Day, and it's going to be no DQ. Show comes out. He's a big, nasty bastard. And Shane says, yeah, well, tonight you're facing TNA in a handicap match. And Briscoe escorts Trish to the ring. So that's what you get next. It's TNA versus the Show in a handicap match. Trish gets in the ring, slaps Big Show. He grabs her by the throat, but Briscoe comes in to save Trish. So Show choke slams Briscoe. Shane hits Show in the back with the chair, but Show no sells it, chases him up to the top of the ramp. And this was pretty fucking cool. He puts both hands around Shane's neck, and he lifts him up, and he throws him. And he throws him into, like, the fucking archway above the entrance.
The lower part where he actually connects.
It was fucking nasty.
It
almost looked fake.
I was going to say, honestly, best part of the whole fucking night, to be honest with you. This was a okay Raw, because it's a go-home show before your pay-per-view.
Show, yeah.
But that was a cool fucking spot. I liked that. The more I rewatch this shit, I kind of do have a little more appreciation for Shane. I did used to think that he was, the spot monkey, the one that wanted to always get out there and just do the big spot and all that shit. But to be honest with you, I don't know, he did work pretty fucking hard, and it sucks that his dad was, still didn't respect him really. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you punch him in the face at that WrestleMania and gave him a black eye. What a cunt. Anyway.
Let's see, where are we? All right, next it's Eddie and China versus Malenko and Saturn. China inadvertently low blows Eddie, allows Saturn to get the pin. Cole with Edge and Christian. Cole is with Edge and Christian. They're going to be defending the titles against Acolytes and Hardys next, and they retain. Not much to say there. So you get your main event. It is Benoit versus The Rock in a non-title submission match. Triple H and Stephanie are at the top of the ramp. It's been a top of the ramp kind of night on this Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I think every match somebody's been at the top of the ramp.
It's just a stage. If no one's on it, let's get there. It's an empty stage.
There you go. They head to the ring eventually. Then Vince comes out. We see Rock use a figure 4. Stephanie causes a distraction, allows Triple H to pull Benoit to the ropes for a rope break. Benoit locks in the crippler, and Vince tells Lillian Garcia to announce Benoit's the winner because screw job. Beat down post-match, Rock fights back. Vince heads up the ramp. Jericho comes in behind him to cut him off. Rock is able to drag Vince into the ring. Triple H makes the save. Jericho locks the walls on Triple H. Rock bottom to Benoit. DX make the save. Then the Dudleys come in, and we end with Triple H taking a rock bottom through a table. Sounds like the end of a Raw from the year 2000.
100%. And I will say that, being the go-home show for Judgment Day 2000, what could have been a perfectly fucking awesome setup was a botched finish with timing.
I don't remember, so I'll have to wait till
So I'm glad that you're going to be able to watch this because it still bothers me to this day how...
it's an Iron Man match, so yeah, okay.
Yep. But how and when the bell rings, I just want you to pay attention to that. It's annoying.
Right.
And it's always been annoying to me. I feel like it's one of those awesome re-debuts. It's cool, but then you have the shit show with it, so it's hard to think it was great.
Right.
But Judgment Day is actually a good pay-per-view, and we're going to get some some decent matches out of it.
After these messages,
We'll be right back.
Hills is a place for kids.
Hills has one of the largest selections of kids anywhere. Exciting names: Lee, Tonka, Garin, Gaetano, Oshkosh, and more. All at everyday low prices.
Hills has a gigantic selection, one of the biggest around. Boys are discounted 25 to 30% every single day at Hills.
You want to be shopping Hills?
Check us out.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
On a Nitro, which we are not going to get a lot of good stuff out of. It's in Biloxi, Mississippi. We see a cage over the ring, which they're calling the House of Pain. And that's the first match. It's Sting versus Vampiro in the House of Pain match. Sting goes to the
House
top
of Pain a fucking rap group?
Yeah, jump around.
They jump around. They do.
Yeah.
They get up and up and down.
And Sting kind of jumped around to the top of the cage to start the match, and he knocks a panel out with the baseball bat. And Sting shackles Vampiro to the cage, the side of the cage. Apparently that's how you win. You just handcuff him to the side of the cage. So he does that. Sting continues the beatdown after the bell rings. And then Sting goes up to the top of the ramp. They shot this really shitty. It looked like Sting had the control for the cage to lower it and raise it. And he raised it with Vampiro still cuffed to it. The lights go out, they come back on, and Vampiro's gone. We see Brian Clark in the parking lot. He's getting his gear out of his trunk, and he's attacked by Shane Douglas. We get a Misfits in Action promo. If you don't remember, that is Hugh Morris, actually Hugh G. Rection. Hammer.
That's pretty fucking humorous.
Lash LaRue and Chavo. He recalls, he gives names to everybody. So basically, Captain Erection is acting as a drill sergeant. He renames Hammer to
drill sergeant. I get it. Okay,
yeah. Hammer is renamed Major Stash. Chavo's renamed Lieutenant Loco. Okay. And then he says, we need a new member. So how about Major Guns? Get in here. If you need, I'm not even going to spell this out for you. If you're listening, figure out what Major Guns means. Smattering. We see Chronic in the ring. Adams cuts a promo on Shane Douglas. Douglas comes out, says, well, I have a new partner, and it's The Wall. Hooray! So we get Chronic versus The Wall and Shane Douglas for the tag titles. Tables. Chronic retains. Next, we see Disco Dick Nuts with Bischoff and Kimberly. Says he doesn't want to be with the Mamalukes anymore. Bischoff says, I don't give a shit. Just go do what you want to do and get the hell out of here.
That wasn't even a segment. That was actually something that really just happened. Hey, I don't give a fuck. Just get away from me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. It was fucking great. And then Terry Funk comes in. Bischoff says, I want you to relinquish the hardcore title. And Funk's like, nah. So Cat kicks him in the back of the heat and then just starts beating the shit out of him. We see Smiley with Ralphus. Remember, Smiley got fired, so they need money. They only have $1.23 between them. So he has an idea. They walk off, and we see the Goldberg monster truck. Filthy Animals come to the ring. It's Ray, Conan, and Hoovy. Conan cuts a promo on Funk, and they say, we're going to take his title. So we get a 3-on-1 match. It's the Filthy Animals versus Terry Funk for the hardcore title. Cat drags Funk to the ring. But the Misfits in Action make the save. The Misfits in Action have FUBAR on the front of their shirts. Outstanding.
My favorite, fucking Tango and Cash reference.
Tango
awesome.
and Cash.
I love it.
Yeah.
Actually, I got to say, my favorite, I actually rewatched that one not too long ago. My favorite thing is when they're in the shower together and Kurt Russell does a Stallone impression. And he goes, what do you think? He goes, I don't know. And he goes, hey, you don't know shit.
That's awesome. Disco comes in. He sides with the Filthy Animals. Booker T comes in. He sides with Misfits in Action. And then they roll Funk on top of somebody to retain.
Somebody.
And then Major Guns comes to the ring and rips her fucking shirt off and smattering.
Boobs.
And then she gives Funk mouth to mouth because Russo. Smiley and Ralphus get a job selling popcorn in the arena. Flair goes to see Bischoff, wants to know where Russo is. And get ready for the shit show here, because we start with Chris Candido and Tammy versus Crowbar and Daphne. It's a mixed tag match for the Cruiserweight title, because Russo.
I like that you said get ready for the shit show. I'm like, you said WCW Nitro tonight is, and I already was there.
It gets worse, because this is like 4 different segments like in one thing. Miss Hancock randomly comes out, gets on the mic, and tells Shivani she's going to dance for him. And she does. Then Daphne gets the pin. And even commentary is like, well, does that mean she won the title, or does that mean Crowbar gets the title? So Daphne's all excited. Crowbar takes the title. Daphne's not happy. Commentary's like, well, I guess Crowbar's the champion. And then Crowbar gives the title to Daphne to put around his waist, and she just puts it on her own waist and bounces.
Look, I do understand when like announcers don't want to know who wins because they want to call it the right way. They want to be able to call it with excitement. Sometimes you got to give a little bit of a heads up, because I like it when in WCW you catch it a lot and they're like, who's the champion? Do you even know? No, I have no idea. Well, that's a fucking common theme every week. That's why Vacant has the championship so much.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And then Flair just randomly comes to the ring. He takes it to Crowbar. Apparently it has something to do with footage that we're going to be shown later. Something happened in Flair's house. Flair gets on the mic, calls out Russo. We see Russo in the production truck. They're telling him to prep the video. Cut to break. We come back. Flair's still in the ring. We randomly cut to the parking lot. Sting's walking out in full gear with his bag to his car, which is on fire. Yeah. Madden says it looks like the work of a vampiromaniac.
Oh, I get it.
Do you get it? Yeah, there you go. So they end up playing the footage, and it's Russo saying he's like Geraldo, and he's got Daphne and David Flair with him, and they go to Rick's house. And it's basically David saying how he's treated like shit, and he's the forgotten kid. There's a limo. They're like, what's the limo for? Oh, that's my stepmom's. It's just for her to get groceries. And we go in the house, and we see a picture of Flair's wife and their 2 kids, Ashley and Reed. Ashley, you may know as Eat a Sandwich.
Pretty sure Ashley and Reed are the same person, if I'm not mistaken.
Ashley and Reed?
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, no, no, this is proof that they are different people.
God damn it.
I literally wrote that in there as a note. See, they are 2 different people.
All right, man. My theory finally has been debunked. It was a good chance.
Debunked. They go to Space Mountain, a.k.a.'s bedroom. And then Charlotte and Reed show up with their mom. David and Daphne come out. They call him Rick and refer to Russo as his dad. Ric Flair wants Jeff Jarrett for the title tonight so he can face David at Great American Bash. And then Jeff Jarrett comes in and takes out Ric Flair. Hooray.
So technically, Charlotte Flair's debut for TV.
No, she was already on once before.
Oh, you're right.
There was something else she was. Yeah. Yeah, that. Keep in mind, that all started with a intergender tag match for the Cruiserweight title.
See, now you're saying the word intergender. It makes me think about that. Never mind.
Yeah, let's go there. Your trip to Iran? We see a cage back on the ring.
I don't care. Doesn't bother me at all.
That cage is back on the ring. Liz comes down with Russo. Liz gets run down. Russo says tonight you're going to learn about tough love and you will compete in House of Pain. The cuffs that Vampiro were cuffed in are still on the side of the cage. And, all right, you're facing Medusa. So Medusa comes out. And let me tell you something. Even though this match was Liz and Medusa, it looked like Medusa got into the pills.
A little skinny.
She did not. Yeah, not even skinny. Just did not look good. Chuck Palumbo guards the door. Russo stays in the ring. And then we see a guy on the top of the ring that he looks like he's trying to fix the panel that Sting broke off earlier. But this guy falls into the ring. It's Luger. He puts the rack on Medusa. The comedy moment of the night, Chuck Palumbo threw away the key when he locked the door to guard it. So now he's trying to get it open, and he just keeps pulling it, and nothing happens. Russo low blows Luger, but Luger's wearing a cup. Liz kicks Russo in the plums, and then rubs the cup in his face. Ew.
Gross.
Palumbo finally gets the door open. R&B security swarm. Nash makes the save. Then Mike Awesome comes in. Nash cuts a promo on Russo, wants an ambulance match. He's going to get one, but it's not going to be against Russo. It's going to be against Mike Awesome. And Nash says, to use the words of my partner, Scott Hall, don't sing it.
Bring it?
Bring it.
Okay, I was like, are you going to make me say it? Are you going to say it?
Yeah, that's why I paused. Yeah, so Jean's with, what's her name? Medeja? Is that one of the girls, one of Scott Steiner's girls? I think it's Medeja or something like that.
Who are number 4?
They're with Gene. And then Scott Steiner comes in. He calls out Russo. He says, I'm not wrestling tonight. There's too many rules in wrestling. And then we cut to outside where Scott Steiner and Tank Abbott are brawling. And the girls hit Rick Steiner with 2x4s. He grabs one of the 2x4s. He breaks it over Rick's back. Scott's back. Jesus, I'm so confused.
Maybe
Shit
it's your
show.
back.
And then it's got to be your bull. And then the Goldberg monster truck randomly runs over a couple cars. Hooray. We cut to Nash backing up the ambulance for the ambulance match. And Mark Madden, out of fucking nowhere, is like, yeah, I just got to bring it up that the other day I said that Bruno Sammartino was dead. He's not. And I've apologized. I'm like, what the fuck are you on about?
Someone must have been like, yo, because he probably was like, he's got to be rolling over in his grave. Psst, he's alive and well.
He's alive.
That's pretty funny.
Anyway, so next you get Nash versus Mike Awesome in an ambulance match. DDP comes out of nowhere, hits a cutter to Awesome. Nash powerbombs Awesome through a table, right? He's on the ramp, and he powerbombs him through a table that's on the floor right next to the ambulance. Problem is Nash couldn't get him up. DDP had to help. It was fucked up. Like, he started to get him. It was like, nope, not going.
My quad's going.
Part. Yeah, no shit. They never put Mike Awesome in the back of the ambulance, and then just Hogan shows up and we cut to break.
WCW, folks.
WCW. Next, you get Bischoff, Kimberly, and the Cat coming to the ring. So they call DDP out, who clocks Bischoff, takes it to Cat. And then Sid comes out. He's back, and he chokeslams DDP. Hogan makes the save. Bischoff leaves, then comes back, and he books Hulk in a three-way dance against Kidman and Horace. Horace won't do it there because that's his uncle. And at one point, Horace does take out Bischoff. Filthy Animals run in, and then Torrie Wilson comes out, winks at Horace, and then Horace turns on Hulk and pins him. And then he leaves, Horace leaves with Tori, leaving Kidman behind. That dirty bitch.
WCW, folks.
Next, you get Flair versus Jeff Jarrett for the world title. Flair still wrestling in street clothes. Russo's on commentary wearing one of Flair's robes. And Ric Flair wins the title. Jarrett comes in. He takes out Charles Robinson with a guitar. David's got another Statue of Liberty statue again. Hits Rick in the head with that. Russo heads up the ramp with the world title. Nash's music hits. Cuts off Russo. Chokes him out a little bit. Takes the title back. Power bombs Jeff Jarrett into the ring like it actually caves in. And then hands the title to Flair. So
here it is.
And good night, folks. Good night, folks. But let's end with our counter. In the year 2000, the WCW World title has gone from Bret Hart to vacant to Chris Benoit to vacant to Sid to vacant to Sid to vacant to Jeff Jarrett to DDP to David Arquette to Jeff Jarrett to Ric Flair. It is your 12th title change, and we're only in May, 137 days into the year. That is an average of a world title change every 11.4 days.
Damn. By the way, I'm loving these stats. I said that to you in text last week. The stats are fucking killing me right now. Outside of that, we know that Vacant's about to get in our championship reign for sure at Bash at the Beach. We know that happens at some point, so I'm excited. This is a good year for this guy. That's why he's a first ballot Vacant Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Just like our episode name.
Oh, good for him. I love it. Good work, man. Now, keep that work going because you're about to educate myself and many people about a movie. Let's hit it. It's funny because earlier today when I was like, I know you weren't expecting me here. What do you want to do? And you said, I'll think of something. I said, well, let's do a good movie, man. I said, but none of that Star Wars shit that you're into. And you said, have you seen Oldboy? I said, nope, but I'm willing to learn today. So I looked it up, and there was one in 2003, 2002 or 3, and the other was in 2013. I said, which one? You said 2003. I read both premises. They're the exact same thing.
I wonder if one's like a remake or something.
I think 2013 obviously is a remake. I wouldn't think the 2003 would be. But anyway, educate me. Now, you said you're not going to spoil it for me, okay? Last week, the episode name was Predictions. This one, no spoilers. But, you know, don't get me there. But if I feel like I'm not really going to give a fuck too much, like if you start bringing up aliens and shit, I'm going to say go ahead and spoil it for me. But that's what we'll find out. So hit it up.
No aliens, no aliens. I really would like to keep this one simple. Just explain it and then stop at a certain point. I really don't want to go into the spoiler because it is a bit of
every time something sounds fucked up, I'm going to take a shot. Okay,
go. There you go. All right, there you go. All right, so this is a Korean flick, which is funny because I almost was going to say we should talk about Squid Game, but I'm only halfway through the second season of that, and that's also a
zero
Korean
interest
TV
in
show.
that. I looked. I
really
have zero interest in. Yeah,
pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's why we differ.
Yeah, I guess so. At least it's not that Star Wars crap, right?
Hey, did you watch Hateful Eight yet?
Nope.
All right, go fuck your mother. Okay, go
All
ahead.
right. I'll fuck your mother. How about that? Dae-Soo is...
She's busy fucking my father. What's up? Boom.
There you go. Boom. Dae-Soo is the main character. And we start off the movie. He is in a police station. He's handcuffed to the wall. And he's just fucking shit-faced.
Been there.
You know, he's got like a gift for his daughter. It's her birthday. Eventually, his buddy comes, bails him out. They stop at a payphone. And Dae-Soo's talking to his daughter and everything. Gets his wife on the phone. And then he hands it off to his buddy. And his buddy's, you know, trying to just fill him in like, yay, shit-faced. Don't worry, I'll get him home. And he looks around, and Dae-Soo's gone. Vanished. Completely gone. We see Dae-Soo. He's in what looks like a hotel room. And every once in a while, they'll just pump gas in it and knock him out. But they give him food, and they do. Dae-Soo ends up in this hotel room for like 8 years. I forget the exact amount of time, but it's a long fucking time. and you just see him struggling with it. He tries to kill himself a couple times, and then like he starts like training. Like, he starts punching the wall, toughening up his knuckles. Like, he's got a TV in there, so he's able to watch some TV. And I think he watches, like, exercise videos and, like, martial arts stuff. So he starts kind of just, like, training himself. So when he gets free, he can fuck shit up and do whatever he's got to do.
Getting himself ready, some of that Taibo shit. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Billy Blanks and everything, you know? And it actually makes a cameo in this. No. But at one point during his journey, you know, and again, it's like this is kind of like, you know, the beginning of the tale, right? You're watching him progress through this, and he's unrecognizable. You see him, right? Because like you look at the movie poster, you'll see what this main character looks like. When you first see him in the beginning, he doesn't look anything like that, right? He turns into that over his like 8 years being held captive by this mystery person. So they end up getting somebody who comes in, hypnotizes him, and then you see like an aerial shot of like a big ass luggage trunk in a grassy field. And it kicks open, and there's Desu. And he pops out, he's like, what the fuck? So now he's free. No idea why, no idea where. But it's not actually a grassy field. It's just like almost like a small garden on the top of a building. And he looks over, and he sees a guy that wants to kill himself and jump off. So he stops him. Desu stops the guy from killing himself. He wants to know, like, where are we? Like, what year is it, all this shit, right? And they catch up, and he kind of talks him down off the ledge, literally. So he bounces, and the guy, as he's walking away from the building, you see the guy fall down and land on a car.
So I'm going to stop you right here. First, I'm going to stop you. You remember, like, you're like, I'm not sure I want to spoil the ending for you. You've just spoiled a guy jumping off of a fucking roof and falling or whatever on a car. You've gone that far, so you might as well spoil it. There's no more such thing as no spoilers at this point.
No,
go to the end.
No, not at all. Not at all. Oh, that's the thing. You got to watch it.
I'm fucking with you.
Trust me. All right. So basically, he's free, and he starts like figuring out that he's being followed. Right? He's not really free. Some homeless person comes up and gives him a cell phone, so this mystery person who's manipulating him can keep in contact with him. And he's given actually a wallet with some money in it. Right? So he goes into this restaurant. He wants to eat, so he eats, and he passes out. And the female sushi chef, I think is Mido, and takes her back to hit her place. And they start kind of becoming partners in crime. He kind of explains what's going on, and he wants to find out. Oh, that's the other thing, too. While he was in captivity, when he was watching the TV, the news was on, he found out that his wife and daughter were murdered. And his fingerprints were found in the scene, and he is suspected of doing it. Obviously, he didn't do it because he was in captivity when it happened. But he was framed to look like he murdered his wife and daughter.
Fugitive
so now
Harry
it's
Ford
just
style. Okay, got it.
It's just there you go. And he just wants revenge. And it's a cat and mouse game with this guy who does actually pretty early on make himself known. He introduces himself, so he knows what the guy looks like. And he tells him, he goes, listen, he goes, you've got, this amount of time to do this, to figure this out, figure out who I am and why I'm doing this to you. And he's like, if you do, I've got this little remote here because I've had a bunch of heart surgeries. My heart's all fucked up, and I've got like a pacemaker, and I've got a kill switch on this. So it's like, if you figure this out, you can get your revenge. I'll give you the kill switch. You can turn off my pacemaker, and I'll die. Right, so now he's got he's setting him up for the revenge, right? And I won't get into every little detail. Desu and Mido end up forming a romantic relationship. I'm trying to think what else. There's this movie has what a lot of people consider to be one of the best one shots ever, at least action wise. Desu he ends up getting back to the hotel where he was held captive, and he's in a hallway with like 20 security guards or whatever, the baddies that work there, and it's just this wide-angled shot of him fighting these 20 people. It's it's classic. It's iconic. It often references one of the best action one-shots of all time. So if nothing else, just look up that clip. But yeah, I mean, and eventually, basically, it's just Desu unraveling this mystery of who this person is that's fucking with him, and then going to get his revenge in the final scenes. And that I can't spoil for you. You know, if you call me, if we end this show and you're like, dude, I ain't watching this fucking movie, just tell me what happened. I'll tell you what happened.
Yo, if this movie was 90 minutes, you just explained 75. You might as well just tell me. No, that's fair.
Oh, please. I didn't do anything as bad as you typically do. Not even.
You're right.
Close.
You know what I do?
But
I explain everything to a fucking T because I expect that
you read the fucking script is what you do.
Scene 1. Walter walks into his house.
Exactly. There you go. But no, this is it's one of those things. Like, I was familiar with this movie. Like, I knew of its like cult status and all that stuff. I didn't know anything about it. So when I saw the ending, I was truly surprised. I didn't know. And dude, it is fucked up. It is fucked up.
Requiem for a Dream fucked up?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'll never forget the time you and Whiskey Man were like, you should definitely watch that. And I went home and watched it.
Oh, I've done that to a few people. A few people hate me for that.
That spun my night. I wasn't ready for that. I was like, wow. I feel like I just witnessed a couple of homicides and shit like that, and a raping. And
Maid Marian.
Ass to ass. All right.
Ass to ass.
All right, well, I'll have to check out Oldboy, I guess, at some point. You know, but, I mean, you're also the guy that likes, what is it, slap shot, slap nuts, whatever it is. So, you know, I'll take your word at that.
Both.
All right, you want to go to the next topic? Which is the end. Hey, thanks for coming to the show this week. We are the top of wrestling. I'm the professor. Next week, do you want to know what next week's top topic is? We don't know. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure that shit out right after we hang up. But next week, we are going to be back. And actually, I'm excited for it because we're going to have Judgment Day 2000. I'm excited to talk about that. Again, the ending. You've never really seen us. I'm glad that you're actually going to see us for the first time and looking to get your take on that. But I'm the professor. I bid you farewell. He's ODM. What kind of thoughts does he have this week?
Thanks, Professor, and welcome back. I'm glad you made it back to New York safe and sound. Dude, and welcome back to the fucking Pollen. Everybody's car is yellow right now. Doesn't matter what color your car actually is. My car is fucking yellow. I feel like I've been doing lines of fucking pollen all day. That's how fucking bad my nose is. I'd rather just be fucking sick. So, yeah, we're going to finish up here, and then I got to traipse back up to the high school, watch my kid play baseball.
Suck in some more pollen.
So I'll be outside, suck in some more pollen, feel even shittier. I'm just amazed we got through this episode. Hopefully you didn't hear too much of me fucking, like, sneezing and wiping my nose and fucking just like mouth breathing.
If people were able to take a shot every time they saw your little hanky that you were picking up, I was like,
yeah, probably have a nice buzz going.
Yeah, I'm fucked up.
Nice buzz going.
Believe me, this bottle was full when we started.
Right, one more for the road. The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor Mark Fantasia and ODM The Doc Joe Rizzo. Feel free to reach out to the show by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com, on their Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. You can listen to the show on most popular platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Without your continued support, it would be just some guys talking wrestling, which is pretty much what it is anyway. Good night, folks.
So as I was saying, never usually get to watch Netflix or Raw on Netflix because my Netflix has not worked across the country because they've cracked down on
password sharing.
users and so I have to be on the same exact internet as my mother-in-law if I want it to work because it's her thing, right? As soon as we came here last night, I go, I'm curious. Or 2 nights ago, I plugged it in last night for Raw, and I go, God damn, look at that. Nice and solid in the RV watching. I go, all right, let's see how this is.
There you go.
So I was usually I'm watching like the R version, if you will.
I see what you did
That
there.
was my attempt as a pirate.
I pirate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I got
Right.
you. I got you. I was gonna reply, "Boo yourself."
No, come on, that was a good one. Anyway, so one is work related, one is podcast related. So the work related, my cocksucker of a boss, decided this. On Fridays, if you live within the Rochester area, which is great because they expect if you live within like a 30-mile range that on Monday mornings you should come in now during like certain times. And I'm like, ooh.
Well, you're outside of that, so
Yeah,
you're good.
you're like a motherfucker. Yeah, so I'm like, I'll tell them I'm in another fucking state if we want to keep playing that game. But they said that on Fridays, if you want to stop working early at 3 o'clock, you can come into the office, have some pizza and beer on a Friday from 3:30 to 5. No working, just mingling. But if you opt to not do this, you have to work till 5. And I said, I will see that, and I will raise you. I'm done at 2 o'clock, and you can suck my cock.
I'm done at 2 o'clock, and I'll still have pizza and beer, and I don't have to mingle with anybody.
Yeah, and I'm with my fucking family. Yo, do you think like the whole purpose of getting out early on a Friday is to be with family, not the work people you're with? So that one got me. Second one, big idea. Hope you like this.